Welcome back to the Lost Beat 6 Show, episode 24. We got a special thing going on today we got the Deltaz, who are personal friends of mine, because we met in college. In college. We're going to do a little something different this week. Eric's going to stop in later, and we're going to do a split interview because this is the Deltaz, if you didn't know who they are. They're a brother tandem playing blues, country, Americana things going on.
Yeah,
it's Americana. Yeah, it's the kids are calling it these days.
Yep.
Yeah. But we're gonna split up.
Right.
We're doing something different. We're gonna split them up. We're gonna break them down into break it down into different. We're gonna get to know each brother as because you guys are used to doing two people. We got John here. This is Ted Siegel.
I'm a drummer.
He's the drummer of the band.
Brother.
Yeah.
I think if we just did it with us together, it would just turn into a Ted Siegel interview.
Yeah, fuck that guy, man.
Well, I don't want to say that, but
you're on the Lost Beat 6 Show. This is a thing we call beefing it.
Beefing it, okay.
And we're
right.
It's a very carefree thing. We're just razzing you, Ted. You'll get your chance to do your thing. By the way, what's up with that guy?
Oh, with Ted?
Yeah. Are you guys? I kind of already spilled the beans by doing a separate podcast thing, but this is your exclusive chance to talk.
I wouldn't say there's anything going on with Ted. I mean, I just like I said, as a little brother, you always kind of get you always sort of second banana in a sense. You always get
your Dave Davies,
get the hand me downs and the second things.
Your Mike Loves. Are you feeling? This is your chance. Are you going solo, or this is your true chance
I'm going
to
solo.
Your true confessional? You get to.
I don't think I could go solo, Steven. I really don't think it would be possible at the moment. It would just be an album filled with very little. So
would you do more singing or more harmonica?
Probably be more harmonica.
Okay.
Yeah, but the problem is Ted's more of the songwriter, so there wouldn't be much material. Not that I don't write, but it's gotten to the point now where I feel like I need Ted to write. My creative output is sort of dependent on Ted.
Yeah, you guys do a pretty good job of like balancing out the arrangement. So for example, you do a lot of that. I should say you kind of like complement the strengths. So if Ted's he does more of the share of the writing, but you have that arrangement capacity based on your composing.
Yeah, I guess I do a little bit of that. I feel like whenever I sit down at the piano with a tune, it usually doesn't go well. But, but I really am just a drummer and a harmonica player. Those are my two main instruments. I all the stuff I learned in school, honestly, it's just doesn't really help the band at all. It's just no, that sounds bad, but it's useful. When have we used it? It's not true,
I can see a handful.
Like your brother, the modulation, like your brother. I
thought
those of you folks who are great, Deltaz fans, modulation and like your brother. Those of you know what that is. That was come up by me, and that was a pure just thing I learned in school, honestly.
Well, I mean, there you go.
There's an example.
Ted's credited you on the Wild Mustang rhythms and the concepts of that and the way that works out. And wasn't John Will long?
Ted pretty much wrote that one.
Oh, okay.
Completely.
Was that Tommy who did a lot of that kind of producing concepts and stuff like that?
Yeah, that song was just pretty much just like 6 verses and 6 choruses.
Okay.
So it was like a Bob Dylan song. They're kind of boring. His longer songs, at least. I don't think anyone can sit through that. If you were to come up with stuff like that today, I don't think anyone could sit through it. I can't even sit through that shit. Can't. So I think
I would claim myself to be one of the few that can. Because I really enjoy just like bare bone or just sitting down. I think I was just watching. God on Our Side. That song where just
the Vietnam
all the
War.
different things, and it comes all the storytelling, the folk singing he's laying up.
Yeah.
And that was one of the few you can like remember the storylines to, because there's a narrative and arc and historical references and whatnot.
Yeah, I think if he would have had like
if
a
you
big arrangement where like strings came in on the third verse and the drums came in on the fourth, and then they break down on the fifth verse, and like you really need that. So in some songs, it's
I love
very
Desolation
nice.
Road too. I love that whole long strung out like affair. But I also can't remember the lyrics to "It's All Right, Ma, I'm Only Bleeding." So,
Okay.
It works in both ways and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm glad it got written. I'm glad John Will got written. It's a nice story.
Yeah, but So,
were you worried about the anticlimacticness of the death camp, the POW
Death Camp?
where he starved to death in a camp? Was that worried that was not going to run?
I
Were
think
you
they were
worried
called
that wasn't good?
POWs in the 1700s.
Yeah, that's true.
Those. I
Prison
mean, I don't
camp.
think. Does anyone know what we're talking about? Is this?
Well, they
this
got
is John Will. Is the song that we wrote about who I'm named after, which is a Revolutionary War.
Were you worried that wasn't going to
Patriot.
play well with an audience that he just dies in a camp somewhere?
No.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, most people don't even listen to the song, so it doesn't even really matter.
Okay.
So we don't play the song live.
That's true.
For that very reason. It's people don't have the attention span for it.
Okay.
It's one of those songs that just lives on the album, and it's just on the album.
Out of serious curiosity, would that ever be played in a place that kind of had the cultural capacity for it? But like, for example, it's got a very Appalachian vibe.
Yeah,
right?
if we were playing in maybe a more Appalachian area, I guess.
Yeah,
say.
like where was John Will from? He was settled up in.
Where was it? I think it was in Pennsylvania.
Okay, so it was Pennsylvania. I was thinking
maybe
Virginia.
if you had a nice audience that was real listening audience, you could maybe try it out.
Right.
It's just a long song, and like it's a long song, and usually when we're touring with just 3 people,
right,
you can't. All the sections kind of just are not that interesting.
It's also very venue dependent too, right? It's like you couldn't play it at a juke joint in Mississippi.
No.
Or a blues club in Chicago.
Pretty much couldn't play it at most places we play.
Okay.
Like 99% of the places we play, we're not doing John Will.
All right.
We open the set with that sometimes, but
Oh, that's cool.
No.
What's on your mind, man? Come on, this is your time to cathartically let it all out.
Okay.
You've had like 4 days. You've been on the road for like 4 weeks, 4 months.
3 months.
4 months. 3 months?
Yeah, 3 months.
3 months. Okay. You've been on the road for like 3 months, cooped up with 2 guys.
Yep.
In a small SUV.
Right.
And you don't have to lay down your dirty laundry about that, but you've had like a staycation. You've been out. You've taken a break for
Staycation,
for like 4 days, 5 days a week, thereabouts. Since the Harvell show, you had that wind down.
I had like 3 days where I just kind of rested a little bit. That was nice, I guess.
What have you been doing? What do you do when you are not like trying to
get stuff done, trying to make it happen?
Yeah.
Me and the biz,
Yeah.
What do I do? I went down to the beach. I always like going to the beach.
The nudie beach?
Yeah, I got on the nude beach.
Okay, which one?
No, I didn't go to the nude beach. I don't think
I would have had to see you there, man.
Yeah. I go to the beach. I practice drums. I still like to play it's odd enough. I like to play
that's good.
music.
Yeah.
I always bring a harmonica with wherever I go.
That's cool.
It's a small instrument. Been working on I'll like try to play various American songbook standards on the diatonic harmonica. That's always a challenge, and it's kind of fun. I'm planning on doing like a crooner album when I go solo.
Nice.
But instead of singing, let's be all harmonica.
That actually sounds like a pretty cool idea.
Yeah. So that's going to be a solo project I have in the making. I'm sort of doing it on the side,
Would you self-produce? Would you get someone else to do it?
Probably get a producer, like a big guy.
Yeah.
To do that.
Like
I'd want like it to be like orchestral,
Ooh, okay.
Like, have you ever listened to like Harry Nilsson's like Little Touch of Schmilson?
That was the one where he did all the completely orchestral album.
Yeah,
yeah.
But it'd be like that, but just
Harry
me.
Nilsson's one of the Beefer Hall of Famers. Just so you know, just
That's
matter
great.
of fact.
He seems like a vegetarian, but
Actually,
I
you
don't
don't have to be a vegetarian to beef it. I'll tell Zach that or Dylan that, one of the two.
Yeah, but I'm thinking an album like that. I'd be like me on a stool with a bunch of harmonicas, and I would not play chromatic. I'd be giving the diatonic harmonica.
That's a bold strategy.
The kind of class that it deserves.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
everyone always thinks of diatonic as this shit. Like, it's not shit, but it's this kind of poor man's. It's not at the same. It's not a serious formal instrument. It's kind of like how the guitar is.
It really hasn't been. I think the Baroque era would agree with you that the diatonic scale is really underrated. It needs to be used more.
But that's
in
what's
classical
cool.
era. I mean, fucking Haydn is with you all the way, man.
Well, no, but that's the thing. The limitations. Because if you're diatonic, what you can then be modal. I mean, you can be all these different. There's like a bunch of different keys you can play in with the harmonic. So its limitations are sort of its strengths in a sense.
That's very true. I mean, I remember my harmony class, and
yeah,
I just remember all the red marks. If you can't do that, you can't. No parallel fifths allowed, man.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's just a little sideline.
Yeah. Music talk.
So yeah, I'm gonna do like all American standard. Maybe I'll just do Gershwin.
Yeah.
Just Gershwin harmonica.
Would you just do Porgy and Bess, or would it just be...
Maybe I do just Porgy and Bess. I don't know. Just Porgy and Bess. Maybe I just do woodwinds and harmonica.
Okay.
Not strings. Like maybe not even woodwinds. Just certain woodwinds, like bassoon. Like you wouldn't want to get the high stuff. Maybe
would you
just
want
bassoon, and maybe not oboe, because oboe would probably get in the way.
Yeah.
But maybe just bassoon. Like one flute, maybe a clarinet. I don't know. Maybe just two clarinets, a bassoon, and a contrabassoon, and maybe an alto flute. What do you call it? Alto flute? It's like a little bit lower, and maybe a bassoon player. What
about a tenor
player.
flute?
Tenor flute, maybe. Or it could just be all harmonicas, but they've already done that. There's a whole harmonica ensemble thing. They've done that before. Maybe. Oh, I got another classical works. Like I do like a Beethoven symphony, all diatonic harmonica.
Which era? Would it be like
maybe just
like the super romantic Ninth Symphony era, or like super like classical second symphony?
I kind of like his. I mean, all of his stuff is
the
good.
middle works pretty good. The third and the fifth's pretty nice. I haven't heard the pastoral too much in a while. The sixth,
maybe the fourth.
That's like the hipster pick of Beethoven is the pastoral.
Hipsters like Beethoven?
I don't know if hipsters like Beethoven. They might think they do, just to keep their classical card intact.
I like Beethoven.
Mozart's like
good.
It's an irony about hipster picks, because like hipster picks are basically the ones that you think are underrated that get higher up because you think you're in the know. That's the whole point of hipster picks. So if we have like a guitar list,
and
you have like top 10 guitar players of all time, Hendrix is going to be number 1. Because he's like the fucking patron saint, and he changed the thing in a way that nobody else thought. Like Clapton might be number 2, Chuck Berry might be number 3 because he's in the early days, but like Ry Cooder would show up in number 4 or 5. That's the hipster pick. Yeah, that's
a guy
if you're
who's
making
really
a list.
Low.
And you're like, I didn't think Ry Cooder was that. No, but he's a fucking great guitar player, man. Or guys like
Ry Cooder is good. I mean, I like.
He's
Ry
amazing.
Cooder.
And so is like, but someone like David Lindley would show up in like the top 10.
Like someone who's not cool, or not
David
necessarily
Lindley's
cool,
fucking amazing, but
like not
it's someone that
not
you
popular,
wouldn't expect.
not popular.
But it shows that you have some depth of knowledge of guitar players. That really you're just throwing a guy up there because it's not. First off, because the idea lists are arbitrary to begin with. The idea of like throwing like a hipster pick would be, it's like, for example, like let's take drummers. Like common hipster pick in drummers are probably be like
Jim Keltner or something, or
like
a drummer
like
that's
a session players that are like way up there, and they're not like in like people who like. Yeah, if you listen to Jim Keltner, did you really want as a drummer? As a person, as two drummers in a room right now,
right?
Who was the guy that taught you how to play drum? Who like I want to play drums? That's the guy I want to. Who told me?
Keltner.
No,
it was more like John Bonham.
Probably more like John Bonham. And so, rightly so, even
Let's
though...
talk about drumming. That's a good thing we
can
can
do
talk
that.
about. You know?
We'll talk about
I'm
drumming.
actually a jazz drummer.
No fucking rock drummer.
I'm actually a jazz drummer. And, like, that's another solo project I want to do.
Okay.
Is, like, I got my big band.
Sure.
You know, and it'd be like... I'd be, like, up on a big pedestal in the front.
Would it be like Ginger Baker's Air Force, which is like got all that African shit involved, like all the Western Yoruban stuff, and then like
that's already been done.
Okay.
Maybe like you start off the set with like the solo harmonica stuff, you know, that's like with an orchestra, and then it's sort of the orchestra then turns into like I like hop on my drums, and then we do like a, you know, big band era like Buddy Rich kind of stuff, and then like mid song I would jump out and play harmonica. You know, or do it while playing.
I mean, that's your gimmick. So why not?
That's the thing, right? You know?
That's your thing. Everybody's like, "Holy shit, that guy's super talented because he could play two instruments moderately well at the same time."
Yeah,
that's the thing, right? I like the Deltaz cool, but that guy's fucking amazing, man.
Yeah,
like that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk drummers.
Okay.
We can do
what about harmonica drummers?
Well, I think you're the only one I know.
You know who's a cool drummer I was looking up is Earl Palmer. You familiar with him?
Is he like Carl? Sorry. Is
he
like Carl Palmer?
He has anything to do with the like, you know, what is that band?
Emerson, Lake and Palmer?
Yeah, I don't think he has anything to do with them. He played on like he was like kind of like Hal Blaine's.
Okay. Was he was he the black one?
Yeah, the black version of Hal Blaine.
On the Wrecking Crew.
Not version, but like of the Wrecking Crew, he was like.
Yeah.
Hal Blaine, Earl Palmer.
Yeah.
And I don't think he got quite as much work because he was black, but his drumming is really good. Like I just looking at recordings and checking out who played on it. I always go like, oh, it's Earl Palmer. Like just unknowingly, it kept showing up as Earl Palmer.
Yeah.
And I really liked his style and his.
Interesting.
He's got a great groove, and you know he played like on a lot of Taj Mahal stuff and. What's his name? Lou Rawls.
Oh yeah, Lou Rawls. Yeah.
Lou Rawls, great. So he's good, but I would say like as like any drummer, you know, growing up, I always liked Bonham and Ginger Baker. And not that I don't like them today. And
Bonham,
Mitch Mitchell.
We've had discussions about those are the big three, obviously.
Is that considered the big? Well,
Keith Moon actually was If you subs Mitchell, when I first heard Hendrix, it wasn't really like. Hendrix is playing it was Mitch Mitchell's like, what is that guy doing? Like manic depression.
Yeah, man, that's a great song.
You know,
I don't really like that song that much. I gotta be honest.
I haven't played it back in a long time.
I don't know. I know it's got a cool beat and everything. Sometimes I just don't. It's too busy.
That's fair.
It's like doesn't have enough space. I don't know.
I actually
sorry, Mitch.
Yeah, rest in pieces. But the Bonham thing is always we've had discussions about Bonham because I think he's the I think as much as he's the overhyped player of all rock drumming. Everybody he's like, and like there's always a talk about how the Beatles are slightly on the overrated side, but they're the band that made everybody else want to start writing songs and playing guitars and being in bands, right? That's the watershed band.
Yeah.
And he's like the watershed rock drummer of heavy rock drumming.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because if I look at it now as two things. Hot take, the guy blew his wad in the very first song on the very first album.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like, holy shit, that's amazing. Like, that's fucking awesome. And he never plays the same after that. It's sort of the same way, like, that Page could never recreate the solo that leads back into A Whole Lot of Love. Oh,
right, yeah.
Yeah. Like, he never quite recreates that ever. It's like that one take he could only do, and then he keeps it,
right.
He can't ever match it that he matched on the recording. And the other one is just like I find them funkier. It's the pocket and the funk side and that groove that makes it work. That I'd rather listen to. Not got a phone call.
Call from John Bonham.
Hello, this is Lake Station Bonham. I really don't want you to talk shit about me dad. He's a really good rock drummer, and you should really give him the respect he deserves. Okay. Bye.
I doubt hipsters would put Bonham on the top of the
No,
list.
I they would probably put Steve Gadd, or they'd probably put Neil Peart's up there too.
No, who
actually.
cares about the hipsters? Why do we care about the hipsters?
It's not.
Fuck the hipsters.
They're not hipsters. They're hipster picks. There's a difference.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a sense of false. There's like
esoteric.
There's a sense of fakeness that like people that they try to put on a false credibility. Hipster picks are a sign of false credibility. That's my point.
Oh, okay. I see.
I really know my drummers because I can pick. I'm gonna put Neil Peart, John Bonham, and Clyde Stubblefield, and could have put a jazz guy in there. So either Elvin Jones or what's the guy's name? The Miles Davis one, mid-60s. Tony Williams.
Oh, right.
I'm gonna put Tony Williams up there. And then maybe, and then we're going to go back to Ginger Baker, and we're going to go back to Mitch Mitchell because those guys were in like really good bands. Or they propelled band. They made the bands they were in 10 times better. So like that whole thing, it always becomes a locking. It becomes frustrating. It turned me off Rolling Stone, John. Rolling Stone magazine, man.
Oh, you feel like that's a hipster magazine?
It's not like I remember Hipster Picks.
Hipster Picks.
So they have. So Rolling Stone's presenting a sense of false credibility.
I see.
That's my whole thing.
I don't know. Who cares? You just listen to tunes and you like them. I mean, what does it matter? At the end of the day, it's just what you like.
Okay.
So, I mean, you could use it as a way to try to find some things that you like.
What are your top 5?
My top 5 drummers?
Yeah.
I don't have a top 5 drummers. Okay. I can just tell you the drummers I like, or I don't really rate them.
No, don't rate them. Just like your favorite.
Definitely John Bonham.
Okay.
So not that many drum companies when you think about it. It's like I was like looking the other day, like there's only like 4. You got Drum Workshop, Pearl, Tama, Ludwig. Ludwig's kind of like dead now, sort of like they're not.
I thought they were coming back.
They're kind of coming back. I don't know, but it's not really the same company. Okay. I feel like.
Well,
what else is there?
Did you say Tama already?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like 4 companies.
And these are just solely on their own.
These are big companies.
Like Gretsch.
Okay, Gretsch, but that's not that big.
And they just got bought by DW.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Gretsch,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
They either bought the drums or the guitars. I think they bought the drums. And guitarists are still run by Fender.
Just like...
No, yeah, the conglomerate thing's terrible. It's terrible. Like the hand craftsmanship thing.
Yeah, so there's really only like 4 big companies. Really 3. I see it's just DW, Pearl, and Tama. You know any other?
And the rest are just smaller. Pork Pie. Pork Pie is up there, but they're also...
Pork Pie is like a small company. And what else is there? There's a bunch of smaller, like PDP, like the
PDP's,
shit.
but PDP's that's an imprint of DW.
Yeah. What other bands are there? There's Sonar. There's Sonar.
Sonar, yeah, that's Germany.
Kind of big.
Yeah, they have some, like Glenn Koch is a Sonar player.
I actually have a Sonar kit.
Do you?
No.
Oh. Well,
fuck it, I'm getting a Sonar kit, man. I'm selling my shit and going Sonar.
Even look at the older companies. Look, you have a Rogers kit, you have an old Ludwig, but there's Camco. There wasn't a lot back then either.
Slingerland, Camco.
Camco got bought by
Ludwig.
Camco got bought by DW, which hence
they got those lugs.
The lugs.
Rogers. There was. I was talking about drummers though.
We can go back to John Bonham. So you said John Bonham.
Yeah, John Bonham was good when I was a kid because it was just like very concise drumming that you can break down and try to replicate.
Okay.
I mean, not his fills are difficult, but like
yeah.
he plays patterns that are like, that you can break down.
Yeah.
And he's into playing grooves. I mean, he's got a good musical sense.
He's a good like introductory staple to what you can dive into because he can go into like 1 degree away from like Zigaboo Modal East and like the meters. Like that's something I'm really just I've been all year I've been like all about the meters.
They're good.
Yeah, just that first.
That drummer's good.
Zigaboo's is pretty awesome. That sound is pretty cool too. Like kind of like
they get really
ringing.
Cool.
Yeah, like
drum
overcompressed.
Sounds.
Like,
and that's a big part of a drummer is just his sound.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not even a drummer. But I mean, part of it is a drummer, part of it's the engineers. But
true, but it's there's in an engineering philosophy like we talk a lot about the Glenn Johns method when we've been in the studio,
right?
And Glenn Johns is almost like the anti-producer, where he's just like set the mics up, let the guys do their thing.
Yeah,
really kind of a hands-off approach, and so he's always saying like, John Bonham sounds that loud because he plays that loud. His tone, his mic technique is only goes as far as a drummer will go. So his tone on that first record.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of it is just the touch of the drummer.
Yeah,
and that's also another thing to consider with a drummer, the quality of a drummer is the quality of his tone, not necessarily what he's playing, but how does it sound.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that's something that I'm trying to work on more of. It's not instead of trying to play more complicated beats.
Right.
Because you're not really, I mean, honestly, most music, at least the music that we're playing and 90% of the music that has drums on it, the grooves are usually pretty simple.
Yeah.
And it's just really about the groove, like how does it sound? Everything from the feel to the pulse to the actual tone you're getting out of the drums. Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing, So that's, and Bonham had that. I mean, then he had great fills and everything else too.
Right. Like that snare tone is always one. He's very famous for the drum, the bass, the kick drum tone had a thing all its own. That's
I mean, they're kind of when if you're a good drummer, you have it all.
Yeah,
it becomes like this. It's just a holistic thing.
Right.
We're breaking it down to these different things, like the tone of his drums, his groove. But a good drummer, they know when to play a fill. The fill's good. A good fill. It works with what's going on in the song.
Right.
The drums sound good. It's just like anything.
Everything kind of coming together. It's got.
Yeah, it's just like having a good burger or something. I don't know.
We can get into a lot of food analogies. It's part of the whole thing.
I just thought maybe you would like that.
I always appreciate that. Let's see.
You want to talk about harmonica players?
Sure.
That's another thing.
Yeah, we could talk harmonica players. I don't
really listen to that many.
I don't know who many of them are, other than the guy from the chess company. But that's how much I know about him because I don't know his name.
The chess company? Oh,
chess records.
Oh, you mean
that guy? That guy, the chess guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's his name?
Other than Howlin' Wolf that played his own, right?
I'm pretty sure he has a very distinct style.
True.
On his stuff.
But the Mojo working dude.
Yeah, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank on his name. Everyone knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, that guy. That
guy. I would say I started taking harmonica more seriously when I went to a concert, a John Mayall concert.
Okay.
Not a John Mayer.
No, concert. I know John Mayall. Everybody knows John Mayall. The Beanie album?
Yeah. That's a hipster pick. But
I really do like that record, though.
Anyways, I saw him it was at the Ventura Theater.
Okay.
And this was like way before we ever played there.
That's right.
And it was like I felt really like honored to be there after seeing him on the stage there.
It's a pretty musty smelling theater too. Just
it's a little funky.
Just to be fair about the thing, it smells weird.
His I remember seeing it was like on my birthday, and his harmonica playing, for some reason I felt like just seemed like something that was like what's the word, like very approachable.
Okay.
For me, it was like listening to John Bonham or something, like where you know that it's good and you understand it, and so it's like you appreciate that that's musical, but you also realize that you could do it.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
So then it's kind of a motivating thing,
mm-hmm.
opposed to just listening to something that just so blows your mind that you just can't. Like, how the hell do I could never do that?
Right.
You
need those. It's like the Beatle approach. It seemed tangible.
Yeah.
It's very punk rock.
Tangible.
It's very punk rock, John.
I guess. But so after that, I kind of took harmonica more seriously. But
Okay.
I don't really listen to too many harmonica players. Honestly, I don't particularly like the modern blues harmonica player.
I don't
like
know
that.
of a modern blues player.
You know, like the
Like-
guy in Blues Travelers or something. I don't know if that's modern, but that's just everyone's always like, "Oh, you play harmonica? You doing Blues Travelers?" Like, no, I don't. I don't do that. I can't. I mean, he's very good. You know, he plays very quick. He's a quick player,
Yeah.
but it's a little ridiculous. Doesn't really sound bluesy. It sounds more like a synth or something. It's like so fast that like it loses all of its like
Oh my god.
vibe.
That's intense. Yeah,
He's too good.
it's too good. Yeah.
You like
He
to
was
use
very-
the word pastoral a lot. You talked
Today I
about pastoral
am.
with Beethoven. And,
Well, I also,
I mean, I guess they use that term. He does pastoral symphony, or this pastoral movement.
yeah, that's because that's like a European rolling hills vibe. I could say just
Yeah.
agrarian, or I could say
What's like industrial vibe, like just like short notes and
industrial's more
electronic
like
stuff.
I think it'd be just
if that's the anti-pastoral.
I would say less
let's say,
humanized is the
So like digital stuff.
not digital stuff, but necessarily like machine, like
Okay.
like industrial metal is very like bogged down and like, or machine metal music by Lou Reed is very industrial kind
Okay.
of thing. So sometimes a lot of distortion, sometimes a lot of dissonant chords, sometimes a lot of just
Not natural. Unnatural.
not
is-
natural, or not or either not either naturally naturally aesthetic or aesthetically pleasing, or natural, or just
Dissonant.
easy or
Not
easy.
I don't know, but those are all associated things that people associate with being natural. I mean, why does nature have to be consonant? Not to get in a philosophical thing.
No,
but
we
like,
could. I'm down.
So that's just I don't know. I'm just. I feel like there's an Americana movement now in L.A. I mean, I was looking at the. I was looking at the Grand Old Echo. You familiar with that thing?
I think it was brought to my attention at Harvell's at the show. We were
Yeah,
talking
it's an
about.
interesting thing. It's cool to see in LA that there's something in Silver Lake that's supporting Americana music. It's more like country. I feel like it's more country than blues. I feel like the association with the word Americana is more. Does it seem like it's more country, or more country and folk than blues? Generally.
I think there's it's got the sort of the blues chords and perhaps like blues rock tone with like a country. I want to say country twang. Because it's like the only most Americana thing I can think of is like Fogerty's Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yeah.
Right. That's the most.
He
Americana.
synthesized kind of all that stuff.
Yeah,
into his
he's
music.
got-
It's kind of bluesy, kind of folky, kind of country.
But
kinda,
it's got a rock beat with a rock groove, with
Yeah.
a rock groove and rock guitar.
I mean, rock and roll is Americana. It's
It's
like,
very true.
So like now, I feel like nowadays there's all these different genres, so now we have to be like, oh, it's Americana. If you play old school,
Well,
rock
it's also
and roll.
got like the subject material is very working class
yeah, you
and
could
very
say that,
and very like
but not. I wouldn't say that. That's one. You could say that. I mean, like, but like look at like Randy Newman. Is his subject material very working class? He's Americana, right?
no, but there's also
And Bob Dylan, is his subject material very working class?
potentially, if you're talking his Guthrie years.
Yeah, but then like in his later stuff, like Blood on the Tracks, would you call that
That's
like
more
working
that's
class?
more that's more biopic. That's more autobiographical in its nature.
So what is that? What type of person listens to that? What socioeconomic class listens to Blood on the Tracks?
Hipsters, fucking hipster picks.
That's a class.
I don't know.
Where do they stand socioeconomically? What point? Where are they? Where are they, Stephen?
And Blood on the Tracks.
No, hipsters. Where do they
Hipsters.
stand in the class in the caste system?
They are in the caste system. They are above. I think because my stereotypical hipster would consist of someone living in a recently gentrified spot, so it's just cheap enough, and it's turning gentrified, so it's
Okay,
like
I see.
it's low, it's working
Like downtown LA, like a shitty neighborhood in
it's-
downtown LA that's been gentrified and they moved down there.
It's like skill labor, so they all have like they all have like they're all graphic artists, they're all graphic designers, so they're working for like marketing companies, and
What do you do? I'm a graphic artist.
yeah, they all work in graphic design, so they can do like Adobe Paint or Paint Shop Pro, Photoshop.
I mean,
and
so
basically
they're all on a computer all day.
yeah, they work for like in the city. They work for these companies.
They're mostly urban.
They're mostly urban, so they're like urban, working class, just above. They're not working, but they're not unskilled labor like most working class romantic notions would insist of.
Like he's like a factory worker.
Like a factory worker, coal miner, truck driver, McDonald's employee.
I don't know if that's romanticized, McDonald's employee.
No, that's more of a realistic view of the working class. Like, I worked my butt off in the fast food chain flipping
Yeah, I
burgers.
work at the factory. Oh, you're working at the factory. No, I'm a cashier
Yeah,
at Jack in the Box. Like,
yeah,
yeah, man.
Woo.
Working hard.
yeah.
Those jobs
Strapping
haven't
by.
been romanticized
No,
yet.
they should be,
They should be.
because
Hey,
goddamn,
that's a-
like Judge Schmelz says, the world needs ditch diggers too. You know, from Caddyshack.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, the
No,
world
but
needs ditch diggers
continue
too.
on the hipster
So,
thing.
yeah,
because it seems like something you know a lot about.
I wanted to write a song about dating a hipster chick.
Have you dated a hipster chick?
No, but I thought about it. And what that experience would be like. For example, like I wrote a line called "She goes out on a Monday night because she doesn't believe in weekends.
Oh, that's
Weekends
cool.
are so overrated." And that's more of a tribute to like the Echo Park, Silver Lake free cover Monday night shows with the residencies that we'd go
Right.
to, and that's like every time I would walk into the Silver Lake, the Satellite rather, it's always like people that I just feel just got off their graphic design jobs and just want to cut loose with some Pabst Blue Ribbon because it's the cheapest beer. Like they want to live large, but they know they can't afford to. So
Right.
Monday night is their night to just go out, and then because the rent is so high, the rent is too damn high,
Yeah, they
as
would.
that one guy said. So like my and so that's the whole vibe, and then they just in my vibes they like things
Ice
that
cream
they
man?
feel they should like, so they kind of force themselves to like certain groups, even though they may not do it. That's like my whole thing about beefers.
So what is a beefer? Is that a hipster?
No, beefers
That's
are not
another
hipsters.
class?
Beefers can like things that hipsters like, but they mostly are just too obsessed with anime and vodka to like give a shit about.
Wait, is
hipsters.
it beefer is not something you invented? This is.
I did not invent it, but my friends did. Because I think it has a creative outlet. People have beefed it in the past. They just didn't call it beefing it.
So explain to me what a beefer is.
Okay. So a beefer is someone who essentially lets loose and does not care about petty problems of the outside world in a very small nutshell.
Okay.
That's that's the bare bones of it, and it's also the most broad version of it. So I like it broad because you can interpret your own personality or hobbies into it. So like we like to get together, we like to cook, we like to get shoot to like 80s music.
That's kind of any.
It's true, but it's the
Anyone
thought.
does
It's
that.
the thought process is more existential than that.
Okay.
I'm writing a book. It's a long thing.
Are you writing a book on this?
Yeah, I got to work on it. I should start writing it soon.
You haven't even started it. You just
I've
said.
been
just right now. You
conceptualizing.
just said
I'm
that you're gonna
outlining
write a
it.
book.
I'm conceptualizing it, and I'm thinking very hard about what how to beef. Because like for example, like if you look at
If you look at beef,
like beefers of the past would include guys like Jack. Like the biggest one for us is like Jack Kerouac. That guy was a beefer. That guy
what about Andy
did whatever.
Dix?
Andy Dix.
Yeah,
I mean Andy Dick.
Dix.
Dix. The plural.
Dick.
I don't think Andy Dick.
Dix.
You mean the guy we saw outside? The same Andy Dick we saw outside Daikokuya once.
Wait, is it Dick or Dix?
Dick.
Oh,
Single.
I always thought it was Dix.
No.
Yeah, is that guy a beaver?
No, I don't think he is.
I don't know.
Basically,
Seems like a beaver to me.
like Hunter S. Thompson, Grigory Rasputin was a beaver.
Rasputin?
Yeah.
What about Trump? Is he a beaver?
No. Phil Collins, he's a beaver.
What about like the Eagles?
Those were definitely not beefers.
No.
Those guys had way too many, like, they cared too much about their own personal, like, gains. So, how's the experience here? It was
Very good, Steven.
very good. I think
feel
it'll
like
get better once people come up and, you know.
I feel like I understand about beavers a lot more.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
It's really getting in deep into the grains of my meat.
Yes, yeah. It's your meat will thank you.
Rendering.
Yes, it'll your beef in it is not necessarily always physically healthy, but certainly emotionally and mentally healthy to provide stability in your conscience, I suppose. Anyway, I want to thank you for
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming.
This is a deep podcast.
This is a fun.
We went deep.
We went places, and I'm glad that we.
I didn't think I was gonna come back.
You used to be surprised who can come back and go places and I don't know. Well, we're gonna have Ted on in a minute, and
Ted doesn't go places.
Ted
He's not a philosophical kind of guy.
No,
he's capable of it.
He's got some interesting opinions. It's
He's
it's
very
gonna be fun.
strong. He's got a very strong.
I
will.
like him for his strong opinions, even if I don't always agree with them. They're always pretty. I always appreciate a good strong opinion. Big strong
Yep,
opinion.
that's Ted.
Yeah, we'll talk to Ted next. All right, cool. Thanks, John.